Hey, what is happening, you pesky Persian? We've got a ton of new Team Rockets cards revealed, and of course we're going to talk about that duck. Before I jump into it all, break it all down, and give you my thoughts, got to give a huge shout out to Dragon Shield, as always, for sponsoring the channel. All the content I make, and as a competitor in the Pokemon TCG, they got a ton of premium gaming accessories, but of course I love them for their sleeves. Specifically, the matte sleeves are my favorite style of sleeves that they have, but they got dual mattes, classics as well. And if you're looking for some color recommendations, I'm a huge fan of the ambers, the tangerines, and the magentas. Check them out over at dragonshield.com. A link, of course, will be in the description, and code AzulGG will get you a discount over there as well. All caps. All right, we're going to take a look at the Rockets cards first. The first one up is the Olive Stage 2 card. It's got that oil machine gun. I don't think it's going to be called machine gun when it translates to English. For a single grass energy, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon 6 times and do 20 damage to it. You can't choose the same Pokemon more than once. This damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. So this is the big limiting factor of this attack. Otherwise, this would be like a super powerful spread deck, I feel like. But even then, that's still pretty good as far as a spread attack goes. And you can set up for like some big Team Diva plays. Now, Shaman will be legal when this card does come out, but I expect Shaman to be one of those cards that goes in and out of the meta in terms of popularity. There's going to be like a Shaman flow chart or whatever, and it'll be popular sometimes it'll be less popular, so there might be an opportunity for something like this olive deck to be good, because this is a pretty powerful attack for a single grass energy. Definitely a lot you can do with that. Like I said, combo with TM Devo is going to be the way. Moving along here, though, we've talked about Moltres. I'll probably do like a complete Team Rocket set review video as well, talking about all the Team Rockets cards now that they're fully revealed. But today we're just going to be talking about the new ones, the new good ones, not all of them. So there's some bad ones here that we're just going to go ahead and skip right over. We're going to talk about all the good ones, all the ones that I think are good. I guess it could end up being good. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a decent amount of the time. We'll get to that. Up next, we got the Team Rockets Chingling. For 0 energy, it is a baby Pokemon, and those all attack for free. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand, which initially might not seem that good, but once you get stuff like Iono and an unfair stamp involved, putting your opponent down to 2 cards, 1 card, 0 cards in hand, and discarding maybe their only card in hand, that's pretty good. Obviously, if they have draw support on their bench to work with, the Dunsparce, Zoroark, stuff like that, it's going to be a little bit less impactful, but a really, really efficient handlock card that we're going to probably see some play alongside Iono's unfair stamps in some kind of control handlock style deck. So yeah, Team Rockets Chingling here, definitely a good card. We finally got the full translation of the Team Rockets Mimikyu, and this is what a lot of people thought this attack was going to do. For a psychic and a colorless, which means you can use it with the Team Rockets energy of course, just a single attachment with the Team Rockets energy. Gem Mimicry, choose an attack from your opponent's active Terra Pokemon. I'm not going to pronounce this. Opponent's active Terra Pokemon, and use it as the effect of this attack. So it's not any attack you can use from your opponent's active Pokemon. They have to be a Terra Pokemon. There's a lot of good Terra Pokemon right now. We'll see, though. There's a couple other cards coming out around this time that might kill off something like Dragapult. Dragapult might not be around as a top deck for much longer. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But still a very powerful option to have. Terra Pokemon are probably going to be popping up for a little while in decks. They're not printing Terra Pokemon anymore, but we got quite a few Terra Pokemon lasting until they do eventually rotate. Like, they're not rotating anytime soon. That's what I'm trying to get to. We got Team Rocket's Dottler here. Look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck and put them back in any order for a colorless energy. So this could combo with some kind of handlock strategy. There's also a Gothitelle that looks at the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck and then puts one on the bottom of the deck and leaves the other on top. Looking at the top 5 is definitely quite a bigger factor. However, you do have to win the game eventually. That's like one thing to keep in mind with these handlock strategies. You can put your opponent to 0 cards in hand, but if they have draw engine on board, obviously it's not going to be as effective. But you still have to win the game somehow, whether that be through deck out or something like that. So the Dottler is potentially an option for handlocking your opponent after you give them a 0 card hand. Of course, it's 2 attacks, so you have to start with the Team Rockets Chingling, hope they don't top deck something good possibly, and then go into the Team Rockets Dottler on the next turn, something like that. And we're talking about other ways you can more aggressively handlock your opponent here coming up, besides just Iono to 1 plus the Chingling. So the Dottler could get involved. Like I said, that Gothitelle exists. We got the Team Rockets Orbeetle here. Got that Rocket Brain ability. As often as you like during your turn, you may move 1 damage counter from one of your Rockets Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. So it has to go from a Rockets Pokemon to another Pokemon. But we're looking at stuff like the Team Rockets Mewtwo EX that has 280 HP. That can be increased to 330 HP effectively. There might be some room for the Team Rockets Orbeetle. Also, potentially with Crobat. Crobat's got 310 HP, moving damage off your Crobat to somewhere else. Another thing you can do with this Team Rockets Orbeetle as well, is combo with the Wobbuffet, which says move all damage counters from one of your bench Team Rocket's Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. So you could play like a Wobbuffet Mewtwo, probably Crobat's better, like a Crobat Orbeetle Wobbuffet deck or something. Just some way that you can build up damage on play on your side of the field, or just make it so your opponent isn't taking knockouts, and you move all that damage to one of your Pokemon, and then Wobbuffet moves it all the way back to your opponent's side of the field. There could be something there with Wobbuffet plus the Team Rocket's Orbeetle. The question really just becomes, what Team Rocket Pokemon are you putting in your active to absorb that initial hit to then move the damage around from with the Orbeetle? And then for Psychic Double Colorless, which isn't a super energy efficient attack, but isn't terribly hard to set up because of the Team Rocket's energy, it does 40 plus 40 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So pretty bad attack, but you know, the ability is what it's all about. Okay, we continue here. What else? Where are we going next? We're up on the Arbok now. Team Rocket's Arbok. This Pokemon is pretty strong. There's a pretty crazy ability on the Team Rocket's Arbok. And of course it is balanced out because its attack is pretty bad. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any Pokemon cards with abilities from their hand, excluding Rocket's Pokemon. So if you go against that Rocket Mirror, obviously they're gonna be able to play them down. But just think about all the things this stops. You can't evolve to Noctowl. You can't bench Fan Rotom. You can't bench Ogerpon, Terra Ogerpon. There's so many things this thing shuts down. It's kind of absurd. It starts to fall apart though when we look at the attack. Dark, Dark, Dark. This attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. That's not that good. And Shaman is in format when we get these cards, so you can literally just shut this whole deck down by playing a Shaman, basically. And you'll eventually, hopefully, pull something together to get through the Arbok. So it could be some kind of, like, way to slow down your opponent. Maybe there is a potential for some kind of spread deck with this. The ability is broken, but it's about the whole package, not just the ability. I spoke about that recently with the T-Tar that came out in our most recent set in Journey Together. The ability's broken. The whole package is where things start to fall apart a little bit, and that's what I think we see here with the Team Rocket's Arbok, just like the Tyranitar. Maybe to kind of stall your opponent is what you're going to do with the Arbok. I saw some people talking about the Sea Titan, which we can go back and take a look at that. I've talked about that card already before, but you could play it with the Sea Titan as a way to slow down the game, and then build up your Sea Titans on your bench. And Sea Titan, whenever your opponent's plays an item or support a card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to this Pokemon. So they wouldn't be able to gust up your Sea Titan and then get access to their benching their ability Pokemon. It would either be an Arbok in the active, an Arbok on the bench, or a Sea Titan on your bench. So they'd be stuck with Arbok in the active, so you can slow things down until your Sea Titan is set up, and then you get in there with your Sea Titan, potentially. So that's like one combo with the Arbok. But besides that, I can't really think of anything that'd be too powerful with this card, to be honest. We got the Team Rocket's Nidoqueen here, 60 damage. If you have any bench Pokemon with Nidoking in its name, this attack does 120 more damage. So 180 for a single Dark Energy is not bad, but this is a Stage 2 Pokemon. We also have the first attack here on the Team Rocket's Nidoran, Dark Awakening for a Dark Energy. Choose up to 2 of your Dark Pokemon. For each of those Pokemon, search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it on that Pokemon to evolve it. So it's a pretty powerful attack here, to be honest, on the Team Rocket's Nidorina. So it is getting your board set up a little bit more aggressively. Of course, TM Evo already does this, but it would be nice to like make it like more consistent, like TM Evo turn 1, Team Rocket's Nidorina turn 2, I guess. But overall, not blown away by the Nidoqueen, Nidoking line here. And then we got the Nidoking EX here, Dark, Dark, Colorless. It is Team Rocket, so it does work with that Team Rocket's energy. On the second attack here from the Team Rocket's Nidoqueen, for 2 Dark Energy, it only does 130 damage. So it works with the Team Rocket's energy, but hopefully we can love Impact instead. For the Nidoking, though, Dark, Dark, Colorless, Dirty Horns, 100 damage. Your opponent's active is now poisoned during Pokemon check. Put 8 damage counters on that Pokemon instead of 1. So it's effectively 180, and they will be taking 8 more coming back into our turn. If we play the Poison Stadium, that increases poison by 2. We're looking at effective 200, 300 coming back into our turn. Now, they'll probably be able to remove the poison, so it's not going to be pulling that off most likely, but 330 HP is nice. You know, the attack from the Nidorina is good synergy. I think there's other Nidorinas and Nidokings in format as well that maybe would work. I'd have to go back and look at the full lineups, but there might be more pieces to actually... Well, I guess you can't use them because these ones are Rockets and the other ones aren't. Maybe not then. If you have any bench Pokemon with Nidoking in its name. So you don't need Team Rocket's Nidoking, just any Nidoking on the bench. All right, maybe there's some synergy between those two then. Like you don't play the Team Rocket's Nidoking, you play the other Nidoking if it's good enough. And then King's Impact for 280 for 3 Dark and a Colorless. That is a hefty energy cost for only 240 damage. It seems pretty mid. We've talked about Crobat before. Like I said, I'll probably go back and do a full Team Rocket set review, talk about everything at once. Right now, we're just going through the new cards. Got the Team Rocket's Muk here. Sticky Mess for a Dark Color. So obviously, once again, I'll keep saying it. It works with the Team Rocket's energy. Your opponent's active is now confused during your opponent's next turn. That Pokemon can't retreat. And then the Venom Hazard for Dark Colorless. This attack does 10 damage or 100 damage for each special condition affecting your opponent's active Pokemon. There's not that many ways to affect conditions on your opponent's active Pokemon. We have Poison from the Brute Bonnet. We have Burn from Volcanion. But besides that, I mean, that's only like effectively like 230, 240 damage. Like, it's not quite good enough, especially for a 3 energy cost. Not quite there. Talked about the coughing before. We've got the Team Rocket's Murkrow here. We've got that Swindle Search your deck for a supporter card. Reveal and put to your hand, then shuffle your deck. And then Dark Colors, 30 damage. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks during your opponent's next turn. That Pokemon can't use that attack. So a decent Torment here on it, but overall, pretty mid card. This would be like an interesting like one of inclusion for like specific matchups for a Murkrow. Like it would being able to just do a little bit of damage. Maybe it breaks something like Pikachu's ability or something, and then shut it down for the turn. Although a Murkrow match up into a Pikachu is already good enough, but I guess it would allow them to gust around the Murkrow and use their Pikachu. I don't know. Not great. Not great. All right. We continue here. To the more interesting cards. Keep going. Okay, we've got to the trainer cards now. Team Rocket's Intruder Robot. Now, this is one of those cards that can help with hand locking your opponent. Because choose one of your opponent's face down prize cards and a random card from your opponent's hand. Your opponent reveals those cards. You may have your opponent switch to revealed cards. That prize card remains face up for the rest of the game. So you can Iono your opponent to 3. Play two Team Rocket's Intruder Robot. You look at cards in their hand. You look at cards in their prize cards. Try and give them dead cards for the current situation. And then you can Chingling as well to like discard a random card from their hand potentially. So you can potentially hand lock your opponent. I guess Chingling doesn't line up too well into that because it's still going to be a random card and if there's just 2 other dead cards. But you could play like 3 Team Rocket's Intruder. Well, I guess you're always going to see it allows you to hand lock a little bit more aggressively, but it's still kind of pretty random, to be honest. It's still pretty random on what cards you'll see because every time you play one of these, your opponent can shuffle their hand again. It's not like you're picking a different card from the last one you saw. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility for hand locking, but not a ridiculous amount. It's still an interesting card, though, for hand locking and control overall. Maybe too much randomness with it, though. To be honest, the first time I thought about this card, I thought it was going to be broken. Thinking about it a little bit more, and I'm thinking, it's okay. Up next, we have the Stadium cards. One of these is fine. We got the Team Rocket's Watchtower. Both players' colorless Pokemon have no abilities. It's going to be really big for Pidgeot EX, to Dunsparce, which, I mean, that card's terrible anyway, so who cares? The other one is Noctowl. Shutting down Noctowl, shutting down the Pidgeot EX is a pretty big deal. Also, potentially shutting down, like, Fanrotom turn 1. So, interesting Stadium. I almost feel like colorless Pokemon in general, abilities, unless I'm missing some, which maybe I am, I don't think are, like, that ridiculously good currently. They're, like, fine. I'm trying to think about decks in my head here to make sure I'm, like, not missing a ton. And of course, there is more cards coming out in the next set as well to potentially shut down. And also, this will be kind of, in my head, the way I'm thinking about this card, I feel like there's going to be some colorless Pokemon coming out, support Pokemon coming out, that just have like ridiculously powerful abilities. And then that's what this is kind of geared toward. Because right now, Pidgeot and Noctowl, are like, they're good cards, but they're not like oppressive. They're not like in every single deck. So I feel like in the future, we're going to get a lot more colorless Pokemon with really powerful abilities, and that's what this Stadium is geared toward. That's my prediction with this card, is that there's going to be a lot more like B-Barrels, not exactly B-Barrel, but B-Barrel style cards coming out in the future. Now, the truly broken Stadium here, Team Rocket's Factory. This card is insane. This card is absurd. Once during each player's turn, when that player plays a supporter with Team Rocket in its name from their hand, they draw 2 cards. What? This is absolutely insane as a card. Look at all the good Team Rocket's support. You're playing 4 of these in your Team Rocket's deck. Like I am. You don't have to. I will be. Turn 1, put one of those in play. Use Team Rocket's Proton. Get 3 basic Pokemon. Draw 2 cards. Turn 2, Team Rocket's Giovanni. Gust up one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Draw 2 cards. A Gust like this that draws 2 cards? Are you serious? Play something like the Team Rocket's Archer. Shuffles our both of me, us, and our opponent shuffle our hands, put them on the bottom of the deck. We draw 5. Now it becomes 7. They get 3. Even playing something like Team Rocket's Ariana, if we only have Team Rocket's Pokemon in play, we draw until we have 8 cards in hand. That becomes 10 cards in hand. We play the Ariana, draw up to 8, and then we draw 2 more for our Stadium. This thing is absurd. Like this is just insane. This one blows my mind. Now I think all of the Team Rocket's engine stuff is crazy. The Pokemon, though, now I've said I think a lot of people have been like hating on Mewtwo EX. I think Mewtwo EX, even from its first reveal, is pretty solid. A lot of people are saying it's not that good, but the engine stuff is just so broken. Even if Crobat doesn't seem overwhelmingly broken, even if Mewtwo doesn't seem overwhelmingly broken, the supporter engine, the trainer engine we have going on here is just absolutely absurd and will definitely carry the Team Rockets decks. The utility, the flexibility, the raw power of draw with something like the Stadium is going to carry the Team Rockets decks, but that's fine. That's fine. The Pokemon don't have to be as powerful, and hopefully that keeps things on a seemingly even playing field, and it's not just the top 5 decks in the meta are just all Team Rockets decks, right? So really excited for the Team Rockets stuff. I love just change and things switching up in the Pokemon TCG. As long as it's balanced and doesn't feel overly broken. Looking at Broken Lugia, looking at ADPization. And next, the card that is going to bring the most change to the Pokemon TCG when it releases. I actually am not 100% sure it can be included in Destined Rivals. We're probably going to get this in Destined Rivals, which will be our next major set release. We're getting this Psyduck here with the Damp ability. Each player's Pokemon that has an ability with an effect that knocks out that Pokemon does not have that ability. So obviously, this is targeting Dusclops and Dusknoir. I feel like there's a little bit of some takes on both sides with this in the Pokemon TCG. People don't like when they come out with just like hard counter cards like Psyduck. I personally don't mind it because it just forces things to be shaken up and change things. As long as the Pokemon TCG is still fun and enjoyable and is changing, Dragon Ball Dusknoir has been like the BDIF for a decent while now. Dragon Ball in general has been a really good deck. I don't think it's a bad thing if Dragon Ball dies and doesn't become that good anymore. Or maybe it becomes like a more, I don't want to say more fair, but less powerful deck, and you no longer get to play Dusknoir. Because you no longer get to play Dusknoir because of the Psyduck's existence, you have to play Dragon Ball without Dusknoir, and it just becomes like a more balanced deck. I'm okay with that, to be honest. I am all for this Psyduck. I just like changing the Pokemon TCG because, yeah, as long as the game is fun and enjoyable, even in like a specific meta, it can only last for so long, right? So they need to throw things in there to shake things up. Hard counter cards like this, I am not against. Of course, I don't think any up to this point they've thrown out anything that's too ridiculous. I know some people in the community are a little bit less against hard counters like this, but I'm okay with it personally. We got the Golduck here. That does the exact same thing, just has more HP. I don't know if you'd ever played the Golduck. You'd probably just always play the Psyduck. Another big point for the Psyduck is it has 70 HP, so you can buddy Poffin for it. So I'm super hyped for the Psyduck because I think it's going to shake things up a lot. And I don't know, I just like things shaking up in the Pokemon TCG. I like seeing new cool decks or just new old decks becoming good. I actually like seeing new stuff become good. Team Rocket's Hypnosis Devices Tools card is pretty bad. If the Team Rocket's Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot and is damaged by an opponent's attack, even if it is knocked out, the attacking Pokemon is now asleep. So whatever. Tool card here. Obviously, the Duck is the talk of the town right now. Let me know what y'all think in the description below or in the comments below. Are you a fan of the Duck? Are you not a fan of the Duck? How do you feel about hard counter cards like this? What do you think about the other Team Rockets cards that have been revealed? Comments below, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.